Have you ever heard of a tale so chilling it lingers in the shadows of your mind, whispering horrors when you least expect it? Well, today we journey into the heart of darkness, into an obscure corner of Cambodian law, a story of a human-turned-monster known simply as the Cambodian lung blower. In the late 70s, Cambodia was a nation grappling with the aftermath of the Khmer Rouge, a time where lawlessness and fear were the order of the day. Amidst this chaos, a sinister figure emerged. From the depths of society's underbelly, a figure so menacing his mere mention would send shivers down the spine of the bravest. This was a man, an ordinary man whose fascination with his weird kink led him down a path of unspeakable horror. He was known to his victims only by the chilling moniker, the Cambodian lung blower. His method was as terrifying as it was unique. He would seek out his victims, stalk them in the dead of night, and then in their most vulnerable state, he would strike to satisfy his deadly kink. The method involved the suffocation of his victims in an insane position. A position later many people would learn called the Cambodian lung blower, named directly after the man himself. As the years rolled by, so did the victims. He has been estimated to have killed over 47 people with this technique, also injuring many others, causing them all to file police reports on the situation they were braced with. Some of these accounts are downright terrifying, so we will start off on a lighter case that has been reported. This is a report and statement I've come across from a man named Brian.
I remember that dark and very humid, fateful night. Something didn't feel quite right as I was walking home that night, and the silence weighed heavy upon my chest. I remember the chilling sensation that crept up my spine as I walked alone down the dimly lit street, each step echoing in the stillness of the night. Suddenly, from the shadows emerged a figure cloaked in darkness. Before I could react, he pounced on me like a hungry predator, moaning some weird language I couldn't seem to understand. His face was masked, and there was something about him that froze me in my place. Suddenly, I felt a sharp pain in the front of my head, and the world spun into a dizzying whirlpool of pain and confusion. As I laid there, helpless and vulnerable, I could hear his taunting whisper and cruel laughter. His hands, cold and merciless, tearing away my clothes and my sense of security with each tug. As soon as I thought it was my end, I heard a stranger yell, "Hey!" And before I knew it, he had fled into the night as quick as the whole situation had begun.
This was only one man's story in a tale of so many others, yet the other people never seemed to get off so lucky. So let's take a look at another case a little more disturbing. We came across another male victim known as Chad. He unfortunately did not get off as lucky as Brian did. Chad was a gentle soul, known for his kindness and willingness to lend a helping hand to anyone in need. He spent his days working at the local library, surrounded by the comforting scent of old books and the soft rustle of turning pages. However, Chad's peaceful existence was about to be shattered by the Cambodian lung blower, or better known as the shadow among the townsfolk, because he lurked in the darkness, leaving only his shadow imprinted in people's brains. From the moment he had heard about the killer, Chad sensed trouble. There was something sinister about the way he moved, and all of the devastating and sick stories. But try as he might, Chad couldn't convince anyone else of the danger that lurked within their midst. As days turned into weeks, the killer's presence loomed larger and larger, like a storm cloud on the horizon. Chad watched helplessly as his friends and neighbors dismissed the killer's presence, but he refused to give in to despair. He knew what he had to do. That was gather enough information on this guy to figure out his identity and take him down. He spent months researching, driving a wedge between his own family and himself. He knew he couldn't stop, especially with the killings being so close to home. But as Chad delved deeper, he unwittingly attracted the attention of him he sought to expose. One fateful night, as Chad returned home from another day at the library, he was ambushed by a masked assailant. He was dragged into an alleyway. A shadowy figure cloaked in darkness confronted him. "You know too much, Chad," he yelled, his voice cracking with anger. "You've stumbled upon secrets that were never meant to see the light of day." Chad's heart raced as he realized the gravity of his situation. He pleaded for his life, promising to keep silent about what he had uncovered. But the lung blower remained unmoved, their eyes cold and unforgiving through the holes in the mask. With a swift motion, he was bashed on the forehead, and Chad's fate was sealed. In the blink of an eye, Chad's clothes were ripped off, his body left to crumple to the ground after the unspeakable acts were performed. A silent testament to the dangers of knowing too much, and so the truth that Chad had unearthed remained buried, lost to the annals of history. Silence was the ultimate weapon, and Chad had paid the ultimate price for daring to speak the truth. All of the victims of the Cambodian lung blower that have survived an attack with the killer all have irreversible vocal cord damage. It all stems from the form of attack he commits, therefore rendering them useless. 12 out of the 16 injured in his attacks have all taken their own lives due to the damage he has caused to them, not only changing their lives but affecting the people around and closest to them. Fear gripped the Cambodian village like a vice, transforming its once welcoming streets into empty walks of dread. Children were kept indoors, curtains drawn tight against the encroaching darkness. Every shadow held the potential for danger, every stranger a potential threat. But it wasn't just the lives lost that left scars upon the community, it was the erosion of trust, no more unity. Suspicion gnawed at relationships, turning friends into adversaries and tearing families apart. Desperation hung heavy as the townsfolk pleaded with the authorities for answers, but the killer remained elusive, haunting the collective consciousness of the village. In the end, it wasn't just the physical toll of the murders that left the area irrevocably changed, it was the damage to the soul of the community. The laughter that once echoed through the streets was replaced by the hollow sound of mourning, and the vibrant communal life faded into a stop. Though the killer's physical presence may have vanished into the night, the scars it left upon the village ran deep. It would take years, perhaps generations, for the wounds to heal and for the echoes of its devastation to fade into memory. But the resilience of the human spirit endured, a flickering beacon of hope amid the darkness that had descended upon the village. The Cambodian lung blower was never apprehended, though he did stop killing in the late 90s, reports say, his identity forever shrouded in mystery. His story, though, serves as a chilling reminder of the monsters that can lurk in the shadows of the night, waiting to strike when we least expect it. This man was a figure of terror to many. He used the aftermath of the Khmer Rouge as a cover, preying on the weak and wounded. Starting as an average man like me or you. Although his disturbing fascination with his kink turned him into a monster, using his unique and horrifying method to end the lives of his victims. Despite his reign of terror, his identity remains unknown, his legacy forever etched into the annals of horror folktale. So the next time you find yourself alone in the dark, remember the tale of the Cambodian lung blower. And remember, sometimes they are hiding in plain sight.